The Arsenal have been busy during the international break, from Granit Xhaka starring against Spain to Bukayo Saka proving game-changing for England. But what exactly has happened with Thomas Partey, and why has he made an early Arsenal return? Could the Gunners be back in for a potential move for Dusan Vlahovic? And what has an ex-Arsenal director revealed in an exclusive interview? Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Babs14 and welcome back to your boy's channel. Your boy apologizes for his absence, but to be honest, there hasn't been that much to talk about during the international break. That being said, if you enjoy the content, smash a like and subscribe if you are new. And if you want to vote for your boy for the Football Content Awards, then all the details are down below in the description. But starting off with the Gunners on international duties, and a massive congrats to Bukayo Saka being named the 2020-21 England's Men's Player of the Year. This was a little bit of a surprise. Now for Arsenal, he has been fantastic. In fact, in terms of most chances created from open play of English players since the start of last season, Bukayo Saka is number one with 65 chances created, above Harry Kane and Trent Alexander-Arnold. These are elite numbers from Bukayo Saka, and going forwards, 11 goals and 7 assists in the Premier League last season. This is why it's so surprising to see Gareth Southgate misprofile him, having Bukayo Saka playing as a left wing back when he's so good on the right hand side. I do believe it's shambolic management. Bukayo Saka in many ways is the Arsenal linchpin going forwards. In fact, as this graphic shows, when Arsenal is in possession against low blocks and Bukayo Saka receives the ball, a chance that within the next 3 actions Arsenal will either make a shot or a deep completion is equal to 11.5%. That's higher than Lionel Messi in 2020 and 21. To put it very simply, every time Bukayo Saka receives the ball, his team is far more likely to make things happen. And in terms of making things happen, 2-0 down against Germany at Wembley Stadium, on comes Bukayo Saka for Phil Foden, plays a part in the first goal with the pre-assist, slices through the Germany team and gets the assist for the second, and also makes a decisive pass in the lead up to the penalty for the third. And unless Gareth Southgate doesn't want to see it, Bukayo Saka is by far England's best right winger, and going into the World Cup at Qatar, if England are serious about achieving anything, you have to start Bukayo Saka. Granit Xhaka starred for Switzerland as they beat Spain in their own backyard 2-1, playing the full 90 minutes and having an 84% passing accuracy, completing 5 long passes, winning 100% of his tackles, 4 clearances, 2 headed clearances, 3 interceptions, 4 duels won and 10 recoveries too. Granit Xhaka is on fire right now, and in terms of world midfielders, in terms of form, he's up there with the best. And what we're seeing from Xhaka is consistent performances week in, week out, and for Switzerland, he was playing in a more deep-lying position, but once again showcasing his excellent ability in the build-up phases. And you've also had a fantastic performance from Martin Odegaard, as in 71 minutes for Norway, he made 29 accurate passes, 3 key passes, 3 crosses that were accurate, 1 accurate long ball, created 1 big chance, and won 2 out of 3 ground duels. Even though Norway were unable to win the game, for Martin Odegaard it was good numbers to get himself back into fitness, and even though in the last game he had a start for Fabio Vieira, if Martin Odegaard is fit and he's available, with him being the Arsenal captain, one can only imagine Mikel Arteta will bring him back into the starting 11. But in terms of Odegaard's Arsenal numbers this season, here is his tremendous stats radar, and the things that stand out is that he's very successful in terms of pressing, fantastic in terms of dribbles completed, in the build-up phase as ever he is immaculate, and those touches per 90 minutes shows a man always in control. But there has been a clear drop off in terms of chances created, but the reason why we are seeing a less creative Martin Odegaard is because he's taken up a far more important role in terms of the build up, even though he does have a fantastic final pass. Often what you see Martin Odegaard do for Arsenal is he'll keep the ball, recycle it, and he wants to keep the game ticking. And that is why in terms of chances created, you have Xhaka putting up higher numbers than Odegaard so far this season. Going into the long term though, I do believe there is potential room of maybe a starting 11 of Fabio Vieira and Martin Odegaard in the same team. According to reports, Takehiro Tomiyasu has withdrawn from the Japan squad and will not feature in their friendly against Ecuador on Tuesday due to club circumstances, suggesting that Arsenal have requested his leave from the national team. Now it's worth pointing out that Tomiyasu did play the full 90 minutes in Japan's 2-0 victory over the USA. There was no suggestions of any injuries during that game, so it is a bit of a surprise, and Tomiyasu is a versatile profile, almost like a Swiss Army knife, who can play as a right back, left back and centre back. With the amount of games that Arsenal have coming up, that is a very useful type of profile, and that's why it makes a lot of sense for Arsenal to call him back. Let's move on to Thomas Partey, who was set to start for Ghana against Brazil in a friendly, but was pulled out of the starting 11 before the game due to a knock that he picked up during the warm-up. That news had so many Arsenal fans very worried. Well, Arsenal fans, you can relax, as Charles Watt confirms, sources close to Partey insist the decision to take him out of the Brazil game was purely precautionary, as Ghana did not want to take any risks, that he will play for Ghana's next game on Tuesday due to precaution. The injuries that Partey has been struggling with so far this season has been muscular in terms of thigh injuries, but in terms of pulling out of this warm-up, reports were claiming it was more down to a pain in his knee. But as Charles Watt also reports, after further talks between Arsenal and Ghana, today it's been decided that Thomas Partey will return to London. Rather than stay with the national team during the rest of the break, Arsenal felt that it was the better option given that he wasn't going to play on Tuesday anyways. So an early return for Thomas Partey, and with it being a precaution, unless of course he picks up an injury during the training sessions, there's a very good chance that Thomas Partey will be fit and available going into our massive game against Spurs on Saturday. Moving on to some transfer news. Eintracht Frankfurt's Jesper Lindstrom has emerged as a potential target, and according to Sky in Germany, Arsenal are interested in bringing in Jesper Lindstrom during the January transfer window. It is understood that a transfer fee of 20 million euros should be enough to complete the deal. A fairly reliable German source, and they are confirming that Arsenal do have genuine interest. We spoke about Lindstrom in my last video, and I think he is an interesting profile, and if he is someone that Mikel Arteta wants, Arsenal will definitely sign. He does excel on the right hand side, and for a backup for Bukayo Saka, and for the sort of price tag of around £15 million, it is definitely very affordable, where in the Bundesliga he is still kind of inconsistent. The likes of Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, and other attackers that excelled in the Bundesliga never quite hit the same heights in the Premier League. In the case of Jesper Lindstrom, it does make me just a little bit more weary. But keeping it on the attackers, could Arsenal be back in for Dusan Vlahovic? Well, according to Calcio Mercato in Italy, Arsenal are eyeing up the Juventus striker Vlahovic alongside midfielder Fabio Moretti. Mikel Arteta is reportedly pushing to acquire both players, and it would take around 115 million euros to complete, which would be difficult for Juventus to refuse. Dusan Vlahovic and us Arsenal fans have a very interesting history. A player that every Arsenal fan became aware of in January 2021. Some reports claim that Arsenal even agreed a fee, but Vlahovic wanted to stay in the Serie A and therefore he moved to Juventus. Now since then, in terms of goal scoring, Vlahovic has still been fantastic, scoring 29 goals last season, and this year he has 4 goals in 6 appearances. But in terms of Juventus, they're not quite the same team they once were, and so far this year 8th place in the Serie A, winning 2 games out of a possible 7, and they look like a club in deep waters. The more that you think about it, and as the months progress, did Dusan Vlahovic make a mistake by going to Juve over Arsenal? But Arsenal since then have signed a striker. They have signed a number 9, and that being Gabriel Jesus, and 7 goals and assists in 7 appearances shows that Arsenal have found their number 9. It leaves me very skeptical over that report, and even though Vlahovic is a player that I wouldn't mind at Arsenal, for that sort of price tag when we've got Jesus, I'm not sure if this is going to happen. And Fabrizio Romano has also spoken, saying the stories on Vlahovic and the links to Arsenal move for January has been described as wide of the mark by sources on both sides. Vlahovic is only focused on Juventus, and Arsenal are currently very happy with their strikers. Vlahovic has got 4 long years left on his contract, and even though Juve aren't playing fantastically, considering how much they invested in him, he's definitely a player they're going to build their future around. I do believe in the long term alongside Jesus. I would not be surprised if Arteta was to add another top striker. You look at Man City and what they have in Erling Haaland, a massive old school out and out goal scorer. We may get to that stage where Arsenal also want that top physical out and out goal scorer, but at the current stage of the Arsenal project, and with the way that Gabriel Jesus has been playing, there aren't that many strikers in the world playing at a better level. Moving on to the ex-Arsenal director of football Raul Ralston Leahy. So Leahy tells The Athletic that I loved it at Arsenal. You cannot imagine the people in the club, the history of the club. I really felt that I was at the top of the world there. But the last 10 months there were horrible. I had to lay off 55 people without knowing that I was the 56th. And in that summer of 2019, when Arsenal splashed the cash and signed Nicola Pepe for £72 million, there were so many excited Arsenal fans and Don Raul became a thing. But fast forward the second of Unai Emery, the introduction of Mikel Arteta, Arsenal opened an internal investigation into the transfer of Nicola Pepe. Led by Edu Gaspar, the idea behind it was that Arsenal felt something dodgy had happened behind the scenes. And weeks after that investigation, long and behold, the sacking of Ralston Leahy. Leahy also says they have betrayed the model a little bit now by going back to the manager at the very top. That is a mistake. But that is their mistake. I would have not allowed that to happen, but that's fine. It is working for them so far. Since the departure of Leahy, Arsenal have gone back to their old ways, where you used to have Arsene Wenger on top of the club, acting as the manager of the football club in charge of the transfers and the first team, and someone that was always against the idea of director of footballs. That approach of director of football and chief scouts and stuff, Arsenal tried it and it got us nowhere. Where you once had Arsene Wenger and David Dein, you now had Mikel Arteta and Edu Gaspar, and even though both of them have so much to prove, the idea behind it is to streamline the process. The less people that you have involved, the less people you have to go through and the quicker you can make your decisions. Moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with FIFA 23 ratings, and we have quite a few. The highest rated Arsenal player is 84 rated Martin Odegaard, a +2 upgrade, and the 84 dribbling and 86 passing stands out straight away. Alongside Odegaard you also have Thomas Partey with an 84 rated card, a +1 from last season. You then have Gabriel Jesus at 83 rated, and the 84 pace, 82 shots, and the 86 dribbling. To the guys that play FIFA, that is a very decent card. Then you have Aaron Ramsdale, who's gone up by 8 ratings and now it's 82, and I think that 85 kicking is pretty justified. You then have Starboy Bukayo Saka at 82 rated, a +2 from last season. I do believe he deserves to be a little bit higher, and in terms of that pace, I think he deserves to be a little bit higher as well. You've then got Gabriel Magalhaes going up by 2 ratings and now an 81, and likewise has Kieran Tierney. Another gargantuan upgrade goes to William Saliba, who is now an 80 rated centre back with a very decent 78 pace. Emile Smith-Rowe has now gone up by 4 ratings and now an 80, and then you have Ben White going up by 3 ratings and now a 79. And as always, FIFA has a lot of controversy when it comes to ratings, so if you guys disagree and believe certain players deserve higher ratings, then talk to me all about it down below in the comments. And finally, according to Martin Ziegler of The Times, the Premier League has been approached by the film company Box to Box Films, behind Netflix's hit program Formula 1 Drive to Survive, to propose a series on the streaming platform focusing on English football's top flights. Drive to Survive is an amazing series and it's got so many more eyes on Formula 1. The Premier League is the biggest league in the world of football, maybe in sport. To get a similar series where you get all of the behind the scenes access, all of the drama and the managers, talk to me down below in the comments, and would you be for a similar series to Drive to Survive but for the Premier League? But that is the video there and there, so if you have enjoyed, smash a like and subscribe if you are new. If you want to follow your boy in all of those social medias, the links are down below, and please do vote for your boy for the Football Content Awards. But that was all of today's latest Arsenal news, and yes, the international break is extremely boring. I know it's very hard, but only in 4 days time the Arsenal are back, so be excited, keep smiling, and I will see you next time. Take care, and a bit.